GB News can exclusively reveal that prison staff have been attacked over 10,000 times by Muslim inmates in just 4 years. Muslim prisoners attacked staff 10,437 times between 2020 and 2024. That's according to Ministry of Justice data that we have got here exclusively at GB News. There are 15,594 Muslim prisoners in England and Wales, meaning that attacks by Muslim prisoners are more common than any other religion. It's little wonder there are now massive concerns about the power that Muslim gangs wield in British prisons. Just last month, the Manchester Arena bomb plotter Hashim Abedi brutally attacked 3 prison officers in the separation unit at HMP Frankland. He threw hot oil at officers and stabbed them with improvised blades, leaving them with life-changing injuries. The notorious Islamist hate preacher Anjem Choudhury was in that same separation unit as Abedi, and there are concerns that Choudhury may have inspired that brutal attack. And as if that wasn't bad enough, last week, this happened. Very serious breaking news tonight. The Southport murderer Axel Rudakabana has attacked a prison officer. Yeah, the evil Southport murderer allegedly hurled boiling water over prison officers in HMP Belmarsh, and then, lo and behold today, there was more. GB News exclusively revealed that a prison officer had their throat slashed with an improvised weapon at HMP Wood Hill, a Category B clink in Milton Keynes. In a separate incident at the same jail, another officer was attacked by an inmate detained under the Terrorism Act 2008. It gets worse, I'm afraid. The Prison Officers Association has also reported that a prison officer had a television thrown at him, and a female officer sustained a broken arm after a prisoner attacked them while pretending to have an epileptic fit at Gartree Prison. The Justice Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, was busy announcing measures to ease overcrowding in prisons today.
I can announce today that the Treasury will fund our prison expansion plans in full across the spending review period. This is a total capital investment of £4.7 billion. It allows us to start building 3 new prisons, including breaking ground on a site near HMP Gartree later this year.
But who will be in these 3 new jails, and what will she do to protect our brave prison officers? And in light of all of the statistics that I've just shown you there, do we have a specific problem in Britain with Muslim prisoners?
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Look, Adam, so there appears to be something happening here, doesn't there? Which is that there's more and more and more attacks on our brave prison officers, and all too often they are committed by Muslim inmates.
Look, for me, this is a show of force. It's all happened a lot recently as well. We're talking about 10,000 attacks over 4 years. That's almost 50 a week on prison officers. That's a huge amount. Now, look, I through my line of work, I've got friends that have been in prison for much of their life, and he tells me since 2010, the whole prison system has completely changed now. If a young inmate goes in, whether they're white, black or brown, they are pressured to convert. Now, if you don't convert, the consequences could be pretty harsh. And he tells me that once a lot of these people come out of prison, they're suddenly no longer following that faith. So we have a massive sort of gang problem that is wrapped up as a religious group.
Yeah. What do you make of this, Nina? I mean, do you think that we have a specific problem here? How do we deal with it? I mean, the stats, to be fair, would suggest that we do have a specific problem. So I suppose, how should we deal with it? I suppose we can't have Muslim-only prisons, can we, really?
No, absolutely not, and that would actually foster far more hatred of and do the exact opposite of what we wanted. I agree with Mark. The prisoners who are likely to who have got nothing to lose, who are most likely to be violent, should be separated. I mean, decades ago, many of them would have gone to Broadmoor for where obviously mental problems would have meant they'd been institutionalised, kept separate. But the problem is, firstly, with the statistics, you talk about the Muslim population, you talk about the Christian population, but a far greater population in the prisons are people who deem themselves non-Christian, have no faith at all. And so your statistics aren't taking into account.
No, that's true. I think what it's designed to do, or not designed to do, I think what it shows really, is the increasing presence of Muslim gangs. And I have covered previously, Nina, things like forced conversion. Convert or get hurt. So I think it is a growing problem.
They should be separated. But the problem is, the Tories actually just ruined the justice system, the prisoners. They didn't build any prisons. I think there are only 500 more places at the end of 14 years. They destroyed the police force. No neighbourhood policing. No youth clubs to nip things in the bud. So and the cost of living crisis for people are desperate.
I do look at some people like Hashim Abedi and I think, oh gosh, if only he had a youth club. But Mark,
no, come on.
I know. I'm only playing with you. Mark, I wonder if we should create a specific offence. It might be for attacking a prison officer. Is it a specific offence that gets you something like an extra 10 years or something?
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, it is obviously an offence.
Yeah.
I think it's more, what should the sentencing be for that offence?
Yeah.
We often have, clearly attacks on children are treated more seriously than attacks on adults, for example. So once you're breaking the laws of, you're breaking the laws of the land, but also within the prison, you're causing a security risk. I would have thought we should rip up any chance of, say, early release. It would be ridiculous for the parole board to say, well, other than this attack with boiling water, you've done a good job of rehabilitation. So they've got to be consequences, and at the moment there are far too few for these violent criminals.
Adam, do they have too many human rights in prison? These people
I've got this written down here. Terrorists should lose all human rights, in my opinion. No TVs, no gaming consoles. They should be let out 1 hour a day, and they shouldn't mix with other people. Make it hell on earth. If prison was hell on earth, I mean, terrorists will probably do it anyway if it's for a religious reason or political reason. But for the hardest of prisoners, to make it so less appealing to be in prison, for some youth, they're getting fed every day, they're having mates around them, and it's structure. So there are people on the street that would rather be in prison than on the street.
I would seriously. That's a very small percentage of people, I would imagine. That's a very extreme case.
But it does happen.
No, well, it does, but I would think it has to be a deterrent. It's minimal.
Playing Mario Kart for 2 hours a day is not deterrent.
Prison has three purposes. One is to punish the individual. 2 is to remove that person from society, and 3 is to rehabilitate them. And there is no chance of rehabilitation under these circumstances. It's a cliche to mention Scandinavia. If you look at Norway, where they treat people not like animals, like going back to the Dark Ages.
Terrorists are animals.
They're not all terrorists. They're not all terrorists. You have got to try to rehabilitate people. And for instance, in Scandinavia, police officers get 3 years training. What do they get here? 3 months.
Well, there is another aspect to this, and I know that we do actually have quite a few prison officers, especially in the dog handling unit, who do watch. So, hello, if you are watching, and I might be about to get something wrong here, so I'm sure people will email in and correct me. But I was under the impression that we're now outsourcing some of our prison officer security to groups like G4S. So it's not it's not necessarily the kind of full-time career that it was, that might have had the kind of training that Nina was talking about.
But that's what we need.
Which surely is what we need. Because that, I would imagine, is open to a variety of different things. More corruption. Your heart's probably not in it. You maybe, it's one step above or a couple of steps above from, doing the doors at Tesco's or somewhere. Yeah. And you think, why on earth would you do that?
Well, it's probably horses for courses, right? If you're looking at a maximum security prison full of rapists, murderers, hardcore terrorists, you're going to need a level of security and training that is an awful lot greater than if you're dealing with people who are serving a short stretch inside for, a bit of robbery or throwing a brick through a window. So I'm quite, I think we don't need to necessarily apply this to the totality of prisoners. I don't know what proportion of the prison population are in for murder, but it will be a relatively small number as a total proportion, right? Those people, that's where you need the highly trained, highly sophisticated prison officers, not so much for lower category offences.
We're going to have to whiz ourselves on just again to emphasise the exclusive that GBNews had here, which is that Muslim inmates have attacked prison officers 10,000 times in the last 4 years. So we were asking what's going on there. GBNews has gone to the Ministry of Justice for comment.